Stampers, Kim from stampingimperfection.com. Welcome to my craft room. I have another quick video that I want to share with you today. I'm doing another color challenge, and today I'm using two colors. I'm using Bermuda Bay and Crumb Cake, and let me tell you, this is a really pretty combination. Really, really pretty. I'm going to use the Serene Silhouettes stamp set, and I'm actually using 3 images. This is the image that I always reach for, but I decided to challenge myself to use the other 3 that I don't use as often, so those are the ones I'm going to use. So I'm starting with a piece of cardstock. This is cut at 5.5 by 8.5. I scored and folded it at 4 1/4, and I'm folding it like this. Now I took some crumb cake ink and a sponge, and I just lightly sponged around the edges, and then I just swirled a little bit around the edges like that. Then I took a piece of Bermuda Bay, and this is cut at 2.5 by 5.5. And I stamped one of the images, the tree image, with Bermuda Bay on the Bermuda Bay because I really like the monochrome look that you end up with that. So I'm just attaching this with snail. Oops. Just like this, over to the side, from the top edge of the card to the bottom edge of the card. Just like that, very quickly. Again, that was 2.5 by 5.5, Bermuda Bay on Bermuda Bay. Now I have a piece of crumb cake. This is cut 1.5 by 5.5, and again I stamped the image with the bear branches and the birds in crumb cake on crumb cake cardstock. And you'll notice again I sponged lightly around the edges. Sponging adds a nice little touch, but I am not a huge fan of sponging because I feel like there's a fine line between sponging and making it look artistic and sponging it and making it look really messy. And sometimes I cross that line, so I don't sponge a lot. Okay, the next thing I have is a piece of the Very Vanilla. This is the ribbon seam binding, and I cut this about 6 inches or so, and I'm going to just put a glue dot on each end of that ribbon, and I'm going to wrap this around just like this, right over the top like that. Okay, now I have some linen thread, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap the linen thread around a couple times, and then I'm going to add a button from the Brights button collection, and this button is in Bermuda Bay. And Bermuda Bay is one of Stampin' Up's Brights colors, so it's in the Brights collection. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap this around a couple times. I'm going to tie a knot. And I can play with this after I get the knot tied. And I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to leave a length because I want to put this through the... Okay, so there's the bow. You can play with it a little bit. So I didn't quite get this linen thread as tight as I would like, so I'm going to use my paper piercer and take a glue dot and just stick it underneath my button to hold my button in place, and that way it'll stay where I want it to stay. Okay, now I'm also going to, from the Loving Thoughts Sentiment stamp set, I stamped Thoughts of You, and I have a strip of the edge from my Stampin' Dimensionals underneath, and I'm just going to slide this. I'm actually going to slide this under the button and under the ribbon a little bit, just like that. And then on this one I inked up the last image that I used with 2 markers. I used my crumb cake marker, my Bermuda Bay marker, so that I could get 2 different colors on one set. I cut this out with the new Deco labels. My favorite framelit set right now is the Deco Label Framelits collection. Using my Big Shot, I cut that out, and again I sponged around the edges in crumb cake. I'm going to pop this up on Dimensionals. And I stamped this twice I stamped it twice because I wanted the image on there twice. I wanted to cover the whole deco label. It's just so pretty. And I'm just going to pop this up here like this. Now I've also created one where I turned the deco label in the other direction so you can see the difference between the two. It's pretty either way. It's just such a pretty framelits collection. So thanks for watching. Stop by my blog at stampingimperfection.com. If you like my cards, you're going to like my Simply Cards Club class where I send you 4 card ideas, all the measurements and instructions every month in your email. So check that out and sign up for my mailing list again at stampingimperfection.com for more tips, tricks, and ideas. Shop for your Stampin' Up! Supplies at mystampingstore.com. Thanks for watching.